The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoe Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back again. Thank you for hanging out with us and spending some quality weekend time. We know that you're very busy now that the holidays are upon us, and boy, did they come a-creeping fast, stuff like that.
The older we get, things just creep quicker.
The quicker that it happens, right?
I don't know.
I still haven't got a snowblower. That's going to be one of those things where they're going to forecast a snow day.
And then you're going to be like, I need to go buy one.
I'll be like, Steve, I can't come and
well, you're thinking electric, right? That's where you're
was thinking of that, yeah, and I still am. A nice electric one that I don't have to get gas all over my gloves. Usually when I start the season off that way, my snow jacket and all my gloves smell like gas for the whole season. I was going to say, once it's on you, it's on you. You just can't get it right. And then the garage smells and all that. So I'm thinking the electric would be the way to go, and they certainly make them. You just have to be wealthy enough to afford them.
Well, and that includes you.
And that's right. And I work here, so I should be able to get a fleet of them.
Yes, that's true.
Absolutely. We have a guest to the show. He was on maybe last year around this time. I don't know. Jim Nocek is the owner of Anyela's Vineyards, and I believe you're out there in Skaneateles, right?
We are south of Skaneateles.
Beautiful Skaneateles. Yes. Downtown Skaneateles. No, you're out there past the country club.
Right, about 4 miles south of on Route 41A.
Okay, yeah, wonderful. So what have you been doing lately?
Lately it's been harvesting grapes. It's been a pretty good season in that regard to harvest as far as the summer and the fall. Quality's been good, quantity been good. So it's one of those years,
How many different varieties of grapes are there in the Finger Lakes region?
I'd say there's well over 100.
Oh, so there's,
my gosh,
countless numbers.
When you count all the natives, the viniferas, and the hybrids and whatnot, there's a lot of them.
So explain the whole grapes grow near the lake because thing, because we hear it and it's cold and it's warm and it's the wind.
Well, he's across the street.
Why are the vineyards always by a lake?
Typically, it's a lake effect. Basically, you have a moderating effect associated with the lake. If you're on a hill sloping towards the lake, cold air sinks, goes towards a basin, if you will, and it takes the cold away from the grapes themselves because it is really on the ground. Also, with regard to the spring, essentially you're a little cooler over that period of time. The lake, as far as its ability to warm up, takes a little bit longer time. But the bottom line is it moderates the temperature, so you're not getting those dramatic types of fluctuations.
And a raisin is, oops, we didn't pick the grapes.
Pardon me?
And a raisin is, oops, we didn't pick the grapes.
That's a whole other market. So that could be a good thing. That's a lot of times how different things are discovered in the viticulture area. Oops, hey, let's go ahead and market that.
Where did you come from? Are you a native to the area, and what made you get into owning a vineyard? Because it's a lot of work.
Yeah, I'm originally from Western New York, south of Buffalo, where most of the grapes are grown around Lake Erie.
Oh, gotcha.
They're more native grapes, Concords, Niagaras, and that type of thing. So I'm from that area. I got in the I'm a research scientist by training, actually. So really? I was involved with a lot of different R&D programs around the country. I ended up landing in Syracuse.
Okay.
And got intrigued with the Finger Lakes aspect. But we did have a vineyard and winery, not a winery, a vineyard at when I grew up.
What's the difference between a vineyard and a winery?
A vineyard is just growing the grapes themselves. A winery is where you go ahead and vintify them. You take them and take them to the next level.
I see.
You don't have to have a vineyard to have a winery.
See, I didn't know that. I thought that they were all created equal.
You're not vintified?
No, I am not. I'm Italian, but I'm not vintified.
That's close.
Yeah. So you could have a vineyard and not have the winery,
and vice versa.
And vice versa. Right. But you kind of have both?
We have both.
Yeah, you have both.
That's basically everything we use in our wines is derived from our vineyard. So it's what they term as an estate winery.
Gotcha.
So everything that we put into our bottle basically is from what we manage or own.
Okay.
Because I know people will buy crush and then, hey, I have a vineyard or I have a winery, but they're buying someone else's grapes and then running it through the process. Exactly. Is that a bad thing or is it just different?
No, it's a model. It's a business model. It's the one I took is probably the most torturous with regard to raising the grapes first,
and then sure.
and then going into that process as far as an economical torture, if you will.
Yeah.
But
and a labor torture.
Well, labor torture as well. But no, that's a legitimate way to do it, and a lot of people do it.
Yeah. So did you, being a scientist, did you think to yourself, well, this one particular grape has a certain flavor, so I want to grow these grapes because I want to end up with this end product? Is that how you did it, or?
No, actually, it was more of market.
Okay.
I mean, really, grapes and wine, particularly wine, is really it's a marketing thing. Mm-hmm. You can go to your liquor store and buy great wine from all over the world.
Right.
So you have to develop and strategically characterize what you're going to do with regard to your business model. And ours was associated with being more of a destination winery. We didn't really want to be one of 30 on a wine trail. We wanted to be in a place that had a demographics that enjoyed wine, that liked wine, and that we felt that we could go ahead and do most of our sales right there at the vineyard.
It helps your margins. I mean, if you have to ship it and you have to do all this, that's the cost of doing business, and that's kind of a pain. And wine isn't light.
Well, exactly. And wine is put into containers that aren't very efficient either. Just think about it. They're round bottles. You're trying to ship it. The best is a box, if you will. Yeah. Box wines have gotten bad reviews over the years, but they're getting a lot better.
I remember seeing boxed wine for the first time, and I'm like, what the heck is that? Yeah. And we were away. I remember we were away. We were up in Maine at a bed and breakfast 30 years ago or whenever it was, and we're like, it's in a box. And I was like, ha, 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 it's in a box. Nobody's laughing anymore, right?
No, not at all. I mean, it's a really decent way to preserve the wine, and
pretty
it
cool.
works well.
So, is it just you and your wife, just you and your family, or do you have a bunch of people on the vineyard?
No, just as far as who owns it, just my wife and I.
Okay.
And we're kind of the mom and pop group there at the winery.
Do you make her crush the grapes with her feet?
do you have to hire a lot of people?
He's like, that's not happening. YouTube listeners are looking at his face. I cannot believe he asked that question.
I'm going to be doing that if anybody's doing it.
But do you have to have a lot of people to pick the grapes, or
sure,
do you use machines?
We do everything by hand as far as the vineyard process is concerned. We do have seasonal labor that we get.
Okay, so you do that.
Guest worker program.
Gotcha.
And that works really well for us. And but during times of the year we have up to 25 employees.
Gotcha.
And other times of the year we're down pretty slow.
And when are you open? People want to come see you. When can they come?
We are open daily, actually, from April through the end of the year, and then during January, February, and March we're open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Gotcha. And where can people buy your wine other than the actual vineyard? Are they in any local restaurants? Or
we do have some in liquor stores, local liquor stores around. We do also have them in a couple of restaurants that are really close by the Skaneateles area.
Great.
Good.
Can you get it over at the Sherwood?
You can.
Okay.
Yes, you can.
And there you go, Tom.
Yeah.
That works.
Right. Well, thank you so much. That's Jim Nocek right there. Thank you and your wife for having that beautiful
Another
place.
Onondaga grown guy.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go.
You have a great rest of the day.